friends! Welcome back to our channel if you've seen our videos before, and if you are new, my name is Abby.
My name is Hope.
And we're
the Disney Sisters. Sorry if you hear a lot of rain noises outside. It is storming. Like full-on storming. Yeah. So, it's a little itchy.
And yet it's still blisteringly hot.
Welcome to Florida. So today we have a very exciting collaboration video for you guys, and we are going to be talking about the most underrated Disney things.
Yes.
So we have 10 questions, and then we have to answer with what we think is most underrated. Now, this is a collaboration with our dear friend Terryn from TwinkleBellTerryn.
Hi, Terryn.
And the last time that we collabed with Terryn was last August. And that was a very long time ago.
Almost a year ago now.
We did the With a Smile and a Song Disney pin tag with her. So it's been a while since we've created something together. So when she reached out with this idea, we were like, yes please, we're in.
Absolutely.
Sign us up. Because we love talking about these kind of things.
Yes.
And you want to go ahead and let them know ahead of time?
I'm going to apologize in advance. If I sound angry about anything, I'm not actually angry. I just get really passionate about things that are underrated with Disney because some of the best Disney things I feel are underrated.
Yeah.
So if I sound angry, I'm not actually angry. Don't feel attacked. I'm not attacking. I just get passionate, and my passionate voice and my angry voice sound very similar. So... yeah.
So we're warning you ahead of time.
I'm just gonna warn everybody ahead of time. I'm not actually angry. Yeah.
And this is a tag, so at the end of the video we will be tagging some friends to do this as well. So, ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Question 1. What is your favorite underrated Disney movie? So, for me, my favorite underrated movie is Cars 3. I loved this movie. It's one of my favorites. I love Cruz as a character specifically. I relate to her on so many levels, and I actually thought it had a great storyline, and it didn't bother me that they were like changing the storyline from the original.
Yeah.
So, I actually, if we're, talking about underrated things, we might as well just put it out there that I think I actually liked Cars 3 more than Cars 1.
Wow.
That's just how I feel.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this also. We're just huge Cars fans in this house. Like,
yes.
The Cars franchise
has
been with us since the beginning. Because the Disney brother was obsessed with Cars when it came out. So, yeah. Cars 2, Cars 3, love them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite underrated Disney movie would have to be Brother Bear. I think y'all probably already know this about me because we love Brother Bear. I think it's just excellent, and the storyline is so good, and it's all about familial love, and it was like the OG family love movie. Well, I guess Lilo and Stitch was first, and then Brother Bear, and then Frozen.
Before Frozen. Yeah.
And Moana also is familial, but
it was like the OG, one of the OGs.
I just love it so much, and it's stunningly beautiful. Like, the animation is gorgeous, and it's, definitely underrated. Question 2. The most underrated Disney movie that's not maybe your favorite, but in your opinion it is the most underrated.
Yeah. So the first question is what's your favorite one, and then the second one is what do you think is the most underrated?
Objectively, what's the most underrated?
Yes. My answer for this one is The Rescuers, and also The Rescuers Down Under. This whole story idea, our family really loves, and I feel like it's very underrated. I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about it. There isn't a whole lot of merchandise or pins for it. There are more pins out there, but they're just very hard to find because they're all older. So we love both of these movies, and I think that they're very underrated.
That was also my answer, was The Rescuers. Yeah. It's so good.
Question 3. Most underrated Disney character. So for mine, I went with a 2 for a tag team, 2 characters, and this is Jock and Trusty from Lady and the Tramp. So you guys know I love Lady and the Tramp. I love Lady. She's my favorite character. And I definitely think that these 2 dogs are very underrated. They have a really big part in the storyline of the movie. And they add comic relief. They add a sense of like family and community. And I just think that they don't get enough love. So I really like them.
My most underrated Disney character is Pacha, and a side note to Chicha from The Emperor's New Groove, because they are so amazing and so iconic, and like couples goals. Pacha and Chicha, I love them. And Pacha's just like so funny and lovable and loving, and like he's trying his best. Loves, but he doesn't take anything from anybody. Like
he works hard.
He works hard, and I love him. He's great. So definitely Pacha.
Yeah.
Question 4, the most underrated Disney animal.
So again, for this one, I went with a twofer or a pair of characters, and this is Jacques and Gus from Cinderella. So again, I love Cinderella. It's one of my favorite movies, and I think these characters, of all the characters in this movie, I think they get overlooked because they do have a pretty big part in the movie. They're kind of like a side plot that's like happening at the same time, but they're basically there to just view everything and tell us how unjust it is, pretty much. They're just there to say how unfair Cinderella's life is, and I really love them. I think they're hilarious. I think the whole mice community really in the Cinderella movie is great, and especially in Cinderella 2 and 3, you get to develop their characters more, and so you get to actually follow their adventures, which I think is really fun.
For most underrated Disney animal, I went with a character who is kind of underrated by the fandom and also underrated by the characters around him, and that's Flit from Pocahontas, the little hummingbird. I love Flit. I think he's hilarious, and I relate to Flit a lot because he's like the voice of reason in the situation. It's kind of like, don't jump off that cliff, that's crazy, but she does it anyway. So I definitely think that Flit is an underrated Disney animal.
That's a good one. Question 5. What is your favorite underrated Disney song? So I think you guys could probably guess my answer for this one, and that is Welcome from Brother Bear. It is such a great song. It kind of encapsulates the whole point of the movie in that it's like family bond, we'll be through this together, like we are willing to like, you know, come together no matter what differences separate us. And I think it's just like a great anthem song. Like I totally love that song, and I feel like you don't hear it anywhere anymore at all. So we love it. We're here to bring it back.
This is hard for me because y'all know I love my Disney music, so finding a single underrated song was too hard. I actually picked 2. But they're both also from the Brother Bear franchise, which is kind of funny. You just can't go wrong with Phil Collins. I mean, you just can't. True. Like, Tarzan's incredible, and Brother Bear is just as great and doesn't get nearly as much love as the Tarzan soundtrack.
That's true. That's a good point.
I picked No Way Out from Brother Bear, which is the scene, spoilers, where Kenai's telling Coda about the part he played in Coda's mother's death, and it's just so heartbreaking. I cry every time I watch that scene because
it's so emotional.
It's so emotional, and the music is so good, and the song is just like really powerful. And then also I picked It Will Be Me from Brother Bear 2, which was not Phil Collins, but it was also excellent, and that's from the scene where Nita is leaving that whole situation. That's all I'm gonna say because I don't want to spoil it, because you should go watch them because they're really good. But yeah, that song is just...
Let us know in a comment down below, one, if you've seen the Brother Bear series, and 2, do you like it? If you don't like it, don't leave a comment. I'm just kidding.
But only leave a comment if you like it as much as we do.
We're just curious because a lot, like, this is all about underrated things, and I think Brother Bear is so underrated.
Yes. Question 6. Most underrated Disney soundtrack.
So this is like the soundtrack as a whole, as opposed to the last song, the last question, which was a song. So ironically, I said Brother Bear as the soundtrack. But I put 2 answers for this one because we've established that
we love Brother Bear. Okay.
So I put Brother Bear, and the other soundtrack that I think is very underrated is the Brave soundtrack. This music is so epic. Like, it is the coolest sounding music. And I think in that movie, the music is so needed. Because in the storyline, the music tells you what emotion to feel when she's angsty when she's running away, when the family's happy, at the end when they're like reuniting. I think the music is so important to the storyline, so I definitely love the Brave soundtrack, and I love just listening to it on its own.
Now, my favorite underrated Disney soundtrack, you guys might know this, you might not, but I never stop talking about it in my actual life, and that's The Hunchback of Notre Dame, which I think is Alan Menken and Stephen Schwartz's greatest work. It just is. It's so good.
It's really good.
It's so good. Both the movie and the stage show, amazing. I love them. So yes, Hunchback is definitely my answer.
Yeah. Question 7. What is your favorite underrated live-action Disney movie? So we had fun with this one.
Yes.
Looking back at a lot of the older live-action Disney movies that I think, one, a lot of people don't know about, and two, that a lot of people didn't realize they were Disney, because Disney was such a different company back then. It was such a different feel. So some of them you literally are like reading back and you're like, that sounds like a horrible idea for a movie. Like, what were they thinking? How did this make it to production?
Yeah.
But
we watched a lot of these.
They're
as a
very
kid, too.
creative, so you got to give them that. So the movie that I chose for this answer is Herbie. I love Herbie.
The Love Bug.
The Love Bug. I like The Love Bug. I like Herbie Rides Again, too. And I think we saw Herbie Monte
Goes
Carlo.
to Monte Carlo, yeah.
Yeah, we saw that too, but that one was okay. That one was kind of weird. But Herbie used to have a very big presence in Walt Disney World.
Particularly MGM.
In MGM, he used to be in the Lights, Motors, Action show. He was like the main character before they switched it to Lightning McQueen and then eventually canceled it. And he also has a statue, I guess, or in a section in the All-Star Movies Resort.
The Love Bug has it.
And he still is there, so you can still see him there. But I feel like they've slowly taken out like a lot of the Herbie
Which is very sad.
stuff. So I feel like a lot of people have not seen it, or just don't talk about it. So I really like those movies, particularly The Love Bug. If you don't know, Herbie's a car. Should probably mention that.
If you don't know, Herbie's a car.
It's not actually a bug.
Right here. We'll put a picture right here so you know what we're talking about. Because you've probably seen Herbie before.
Yeah.
Whether or not you knew that's what it was.
Right.
There he is. So for my favorite underrated live-action Disney movie, I could have picked a few because we watched these a ton as a kid. We watched a lot of the live-action Disney movies. I remember going to the library, we'd just like scan the shelf and be like, that looks fun, and we'd take it home and we'd watch it. But one of my favorites was The Apple Dumpling Gang, which it has Tim Conway and Don Knotts at their finest.
And they call themselves the Apple Dumpling Gang. And they call themselves the Apple Dumpling Gang.
It's so good, y'all.
Yes.
It's like a Wild West story about a guy who accidentally adopts 3 orphans and ends up having to take care of them, but he's like a bachelor, so he doesn't know how to take care of them.
He's like a rich bachelor type, and then they're like poor orphans.
And then you've got Don Knotts and Tim Conway,
which makes everything hilarious.
Who are a gang of like robbers. They're trying to rob a bank.
Yeah.
And they're just totally not great at it, but it's hilarious, and so it's definitely
Google that one and figure out about the movie, and then you should definitely
watch it because it's so much fun. So, and it also, I love, it has some little touches at Disney World as well, because there's some like signs for I think it's Hatch Knife outfit, I think is what they call themselves, and there's like signs for them, like wanted posters in Thunder Mountain, in the Thunder Mountain queue. I love it. I love it.
Be on the lookout for those too, because it's kind of fun to see those little touches.
Question 8. Most underrated Disney villain.
So we did talk about these in the villains tag that we can link in a card right here. And we did talk a lot about the villains, everything that we could think of about the villains we talked in that video. But I think, in my opinion, the most underrated Disney villain is Madame Medusa from The Rescuers. She's just pure evil, in the most like inhumane way. I think that Disney gets that's really dark, really dark. So I think she's very underrated and isn't really talked about, probably for that reason.
Because she's creepy.
She's very creepy and has alligators for pets.
Yeah.
So. Anyways, so Madame Medusa is my answer.
And my answer for this is Professor Ratigan from The Great Mouse Detective, which is another great underrated Disney movie. He's just terrifying, particularly in the clock tower scene. He's just really scary. But he's also very, like, suave and kind of debonair. Yes. But, like, you can tell he's, like, about to crack at any given moment. And then when he finally does, it's really scary.
Yep.
But, yeah.
Question 9. Most underrated Disney princess. And this can be official or non-official. So, for my answer, I went with Tiana. I feel like of all of the official princesses, I feel like Tiana is one of the most underrated. Probably because of the time that she came out. I think it wasn't anything to do with that movie or her as a character. I think it was just there was so much happening in the Disney movie realm that I feel like she just kind of got overlooked. But she's a really great princess and has a lot of interesting quality traits that a lot of the other princesses don't have.
Yeah. Princess and the Frog is another one that's underrated.
Yes.
Yes, it's really good. The one I said is kind of, I mean, she's definitely underrated, but a lot of people try to forget that she exists because people don't like this movie for some reason. But it's Melody from The Little Mermaid 2.
Yes! I love The Little Mermaid 2.
Yes. Little Mermaid 2 was, like, my favorite movie for a while growing up, and my mom kind of got sick of it after a while because it's, like, all I watched. I would watch it and I'd rewind it and I would watch it again.
Fans, which is kind of funny.
We're huge Disney
Abby's favorite was The Little Mermaid 2 and my favorite was Cinderella 2. And we watched those over and over and over.
All the time. So Melody is a princess. Like, she's the daughter of Eric and Ariel.
She's princess from both sides.
Yes. So she is most definitely a princess, and she's honestly more rebellious than either of her parents.
Yep.
Which I feel like
makes sense.
Both of her parents put together makes like one really out there child. But she is fabulous, and that movie has great music as well.
It does,
I think it's very underrated. So yes.
I think a lot of people don't even know that it exists.
Right.
But it's kind of like they took the ideas and concepts from the original and
just flipped them,
mirrored them in a different ending. Let's just say that.
Question 10.
Final question.
Oh yes, final question. Most underrated Disney couple.
So I think we had the same answer for this one.
Probably.
And it is Bernard and Bianca from The Rescuers.
They're so cute.
They're probably one of my favorite Disney couples. Let's say non-human Disney couple. They're probably my favorite. And I think it's just because they're like so sweet. They balance each other so well. And they are
so cute.
Kind of like an odd couple. Like like you wouldn't really think that they would work. But they care so much about each other. And it's so cute.
And Bianca's style goals, always.
Always. Even when she's in a sardine can, she still
She's
looks
still
fabulous.
fashion goals. A fashion queen.
Okay, so sorry, Taryn. We kind of added a bonus question because
we needed to talk about this, and like I want to talk about it really bad, so we're gonna talk about it.
She really wants to talk about it really bad.
So question 11, bonus question. What is your favorite underrated Disney sequel? I love Disney sequels so much, you guys. Like, so much. There are so many good ones, and they're always overshadowed by like the not so good ones. Like, I'll admit Pocahontas 2 was not great.
I think a lot of people are they like diss on all the sequels because there were a few that were not good.
Right.
So,
but like Brother Bear 2, amazing.
Cinderella 2,
amazing.
Awesome. Cinderella 3.
Oh, Cinderella 3 is excellent. I love Cinderella 3. Lion King 1.5 is hilarious.
Great.
If you haven't seen that.
And get it, I don't even know if you can get it anymore, but if you can, get the DVD with the bonus features disc. The bonus features disc is hilarious.
Yes, so if you don't know, Lion King 1.5 is the story of the Lion King told from Timon and Pumbaa's perspective.
I mean, how could that not be awesome?
It's amazing. I loved Aladdin and the King of Thieves. Like, no one talks about that, but it's excellent as well. And the music is so good, and Robin Williams is back as Genie, and it's just, it's great. And I'm trying to think, there are others that I know I love, but like...
I think that's a good list.
Yeah. I mean...
Here are some sequels to check out.
Here are some sequels to check out. Go check them out. I mean, obviously, like... We grew up watching, like, the straight-to-DVD Disney sequels.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like, all the Disney sequels are, like, theatrical release, which is great. I love it, because, like, Ralph Breaks the Internet, I loved it. And Frozen 2, I'm sure I'm gonna love. Like, I'm sure I'm gonna love it. But back in our day, back in our day, they were straight to DVD or straight to VHS. And we...
Whoa.
Yeah. They're so good, though. They're really good. Yeah.
So that is all 10 questions. Thank you so much, Terryn, for reaching out and asking for us to collab on this. It was so much fun. And now it's time to tag some people.
So the first person that we would like to tag is Saria from Dream It DIY.
Yeah, I think this will be interesting to hear your favorite underrated things.
Yes.
The next person or family that we would like to tag is Nicole and the kids from Irresistible Magic NZ Cole.
I know you guys love a lot of underrated Disney things.
Yeah,
so
this is totally up your alley,
yes.
so I think this will be fun for you guys to do.
But we would also like to tag Katie from Over the Moony, because, again, I'm sure she has some very interesting answers for underrated Disney things.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd also like to tag Heather from The Disney Housewife. I'm sure also, because she and us think a lot alike, I'm sure she also loves a lot of underrated things, so I'd love to know what your favorite underrated things are.
And the final person we would like to tag is our friend Mariah from Mariah's Whole New World. So I think that it's fun to talk about the underrated things, because a lot of times we talk about the overrated things. Mm-hmm. And so I think that this will be fun to hear everybody talk about the underrated.
Yes. And let us know in a comment down below, how would you answer these questions? What are some of your underrated Disney things?
And have you seen any of those sequels?
Yes.
We would like to know.
I would very much like to know.
So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up.
Subscribe down below for more Disney magic.
Also, check out Terryn's channel. We will link it in our description, as well as her video that matches this one. And we'd love for you guys to do this tag and answer these questions if you have a channel. Let us know in a comment if you do this tag. And hit the notification bell next to the subscription button so you don't miss any future videos from us.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye!